Hey guys, Jimmy, and today I wanted to sit down and have a little bit of a discussion. So then, in this video I actually want to talk about some potential future updates, future features, just future content for Loomian Legacy. Obviously coming from Brick Bronze with a lot of content like the arcades, the hoverboards, all of that stuff that we lost in Loomian Legacy. Obviously it makes sense since Brick Bronze was in almost a completely entire game, and also they can't cram all of it into like 2 updates in a completely brand new game, basically starting from scratch. So obviously there's going to be some content that has been cut and potentially might return in the future. But what I want to do, is I wanted to sit down and I have a few ideas, so I decided I'll decide on 5 of them to talk about. I guess 2 of them you could kind of combine into one, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. But I wanted to sit down and talk about some potential ideas that I personally would like to see in the future in Loomian Legacy. That doesn't mean that these are confirmed. I just thought it would be cool to see what you guys would think about it as well. So also let me know in the comments down below if you think these ideas of mine are kind of cool. Or also, like I said, let me know some of your ideas down in the comments below as well. So then, the 5 things I have picked, some of them could actually be likely to be a thing in the future for Loomian Legacy. Some of them I would probably say not so much. I can't really see at least one of these probably just not being a thing in the future, because it's kind of like a little bit out there. But like I said, the idea of this video is to talk about some things that I personally would like to see in Loomian Legacy. Anyway, let's get into it. Okay then, so for my first idea, it's not exactly a completely new feature. It's more or less a feature that's being added onto an already existing feature that basically got confirmed, which is tournaments. So obviously, the developers have been talking about tournaments, which was mostly sparked up for the fact that you cannot get gamma starters in the wild because starters are not in the wilds, and that basically confirms that they will probably never be in the wilds. So then, that being said, they said we could potentially do them as prizes for people that win official tournaments that might potentially be added in the future, which is also a really cool idea. If they don't want to do like gamma starters, they could potentially do other things like rainbow Loomians and stuff like that. But I want to add a little bit on top of that idea, and that is for players to host their own tournaments, so kind of like a custom host tournaments. I feel like it might be a bad idea to like give everyone access to this, so maybe like just give it to content creators at the very start just to see how it would work. But basically, they run exactly like the official tournaments, just that, like I said, I feel like it'd probably be best if only content creators like could get this at first just to see how it plays out. But let's say, for me, I get to host a tournament and everyone that's in my server can join that tournament, and we play through the entire tournament, and at the end you get a winner. And potentially the person that hosts the tournament, let's just say me, okay, I'm going to go to my PC box, I want this Loomian, this Loomian, this Loomian. Those would be like the prizes for the people that come first, second, and third. I feel like that would be a really cool idea, but again, I don't know if it'll be like, it'll be possible, but I think it would be a pretty cool idea. If they do an official tournaments, I can't really see them being like I would like to say that they'll be a common occurrence, but I feel like they won't be like really common for them to like completely keep doing them over and over and over again. I feel like there'll be like quite a bit of a break between official tournaments. So I feel like this could be like another cool idea to get more people interested in PvP. So that is my first idea, which I don't exactly know, I feel like it's a cool idea, but I feel like if everyone has access to it, it'll probably just be a mess, so not really too sure, but that's my first idea. Okay then, so for my second idea, I believe this one probably is the most likely thing that will happen in Loomian Legacy. A lot of people actually say that they are like completely 100% guaranteeing that this will be a thing in the future, and that is Mega Evolutions. Obviously, Mega Evolutions probably wouldn't be called, probably won't be called that in Loomian Legacy. It'll probably have a different name, but where else to start than the starters if we are going to get Mega Evolutions? So, as you can tell in the thumbnail, I'll put an image up on screen right now of a Mega Zulong design that Cirxia made. If you want to go follow on Twitter, link in the description. But basically, the idea of this is also kind of similar to Pokemon. They can also do some different stuff to it to make it different. But also, the best place to start, if they are going to add Megas, is probably the starters. Everyone in the game has a starter when they first start the game, so it makes the most sense. The only problem that I can actually see with this, though, is that if you take a look at the starters' final evolution designs, they're all pretty damn perfect. Like, there's not really a lot that you can actually add to them. So the only problem that I can really see is that, yes, you can take the starters and make them a little bit better. For example, the design that we actually have for the Mega Zulong by Cyrixia is already taking the existing like features that make Zulong and just adding a little bit onto them, like giving it a little bit longer horns, giving it a little bit like longer hair, making it a lot longer than where it usually is, just adding onto the already existing features that make it a Zulong. Although, with that, they can potentially like mess it up, I guess. Like I said, the starters are all already like pretty damn perfect design wise, so I don't know if like the rewards could outweigh the risk, in the sense that yes, they can take an already perfect Loomian design and make it even better, or adding too much to make it look a lot better that they completely ruin it. In my opinion, I think a good example is things like Mega Blastoise and Mega Alakazam. I like the idea that they were going for, but in the final product, I prefer just the original versions of them a lot more than their actual Megas. They just kind of look goofy. Some of my favourite Megas from Pokemon is stuff like... Actually, I feel like a lot of them are actually really good, but like Metagross, Heracross. They're not adding too much to the already existing Pokemon during the Mega Evolution process. They're taking the already existing features that make that Pokemon and just adding more onto them to make them even better. Like I said, a good example is stuff like Mega Blaziken, Mega Mawile is a really good one, Mega Heracross. Like, they're taking things that already are good about that Pokemon and just changing them enough to make them look a little bit different, but keeping the original feel of that Pokemon, because at the end of the day, it's not a new Pokemon, it's just a Mega Evolution of it. So I feel like Mega Evolution is a pretty like big want for a lot of fans for Loomian Legacy, but like I said, I would personally say that the starters would be a good choice to start with if they were going to do some form of these Mega Evolutions, but again, I don't really know if like they can do them perfect. And like I said, I feel like the starters, in my opinion, already look so freaking damn good, so I just don't want them to ruin the designs of them, really. Anyway, with that being said, onto my third spot, which I feel like a lot of people have had like a lot of questions about this one, and I feel like it was worth putting on the list, which is Professor Cypress. We never really got like any closure to what actually happened. The only thing that we know is that he went through the portal the same way that Jake did. Also, it looks like he didn't end up in Loomian Legacy at the very same place that Jake ended up. He ended up probably in like another universe, but it would be nice to like potentially see in the Loomian Legacy storyline to find like some closure to what happened to Cypress, or maybe he joins in on the story in Loomian Legacy in the future updates, and also either helps us, probably not, probably still be a villain to be honest, but I feel like it'd be cool if we could see Cypress again in the game, or we had like some sort of closure that obviously, okay, well, he ended up in like another dimension, and we will like definitely know that we will probably not be seeing him at all. So I feel like it's like a pretty good one. A lot of people have had questions about, is Professor Cypress going to be in this game? Is he not? Is he going to be a villain? Also, right now in the storyline, we don't really like have a villain. The only thing that we really have is like the corruptions, which, to our knowledge, we don't really like have a idea of like if anyone's behind it or not. So I don't know. I feel like it could be like a cool, interesting thing to like delve into in the storyline if they are choosing to do that. But again, we don't exactly know. The game is like still very, very new in terms of like how much we know about the storyline. The only thing that we know really is that corruptors are just popping up a lot around Roria right now. So I don't know. I feel like it was a cool one, so I thought I'd add it in and see what people think. But anyway, on to the next one. Okay then, so onto my fourth slot. The fourth and fifth slot, I guess I can see intertwining a little bit. I can't really see us getting one of these new things without getting the other one first, so I'm going to start with number 4, which is a new typing. Now, also seen from kind of from Pokemon, that like certain typings like Rock has completely vanished, or you can say that as like combined with Earth or Ground to make Earth. We've seen that Fairy has become Light, we've seen that Dragon has become Ancient. Like some of these typings are like changed names, like changed like form, stuff like that, so seeing a new typing would be really, really cool, but I feel like it needs to be done right, because like I said, I mean, since we don't have Fairy in this game as a typing, we have Light typing instead. They can't exactly like bring the Fairy typing into the game, at least from my perspective, because I feel like Fairies would also fall into the Ancient category now, rather than the Light typing, or maybe it'll be a combine of the Light and the Ancient typing, so I could definitely see them coming up with some new ideas for a new typing, but I feel like it's going to be very difficult for the typings that we already have into the game and for them to not like overlap and basically be the exact same thing. So as you can tell, that's probably why they combined or got rid of the Rock typing and or combined it with Ground to make Earth, since it's more or less the same thing. So I'd love to see a new typing. I feel like that'd be a really, really cool idea, but like I said, I don't really see us getting a new typing in Loomian Legacy, that is. But with that being said, onto our 5th slot, which is Loomian Legacy 2. The reason why I think these two are gonna like intertwine, because I can't really see us getting a new typing in Loomian Legacy. I feel like it'd be kind of awkward to just drop a new typing like halfway through the game. So I feel like what would happen if we had to get a new typing would be until we get a new generation of Loomian Legacy. Obviously, once this game is completely finished, we're probably going to have like some end game content, like after we've done and beat the Rory League team, at least that's what we're assuming is going to happen at the end of the Battle Theatre collection, I guess, is that we have like a Rory League. Once we beat it, that's basically like the story over, done with, like maybe some end game contents, and then that's basically it. So there is always going to be the thing that, is there going to be a second version of it, or is there not? Probably, in my opinion, there most likely will be, although that's very far into the future. We still have a long, long way to go for the first version, obviously, Veils of Darkness, but I can definitely see there being a Loomian Legacy 2, and if we are going to get a new typing, I feel like it would be the best to introduce it in a new version or a new generation. So I don't know, I feel like once Loomian Legacy is done, like there's nothing really to add on to it. We've got a lot of the features, we've got a lot of the content, and we've basically done a lot of storyline. There's no more like to add on to the game. I feel like then they could potentially start working on a second generation, which, again, like I said, I feel like would be the best way to introduce a new typing, is with a new region, with a new generation, stuff like that. So I feel like this one is probably in everyone's mind what's going to happen when Loomian Legacy is finished, which, like I said, we're only on like the 2nd Battle Theatre right now. So, I mean, we've got a very, very, very long time to go before we have completed Loomian Legacy in development. So, very far into the future, but I feel like it is an idea in the back of everyone's minds. If Loomian Legacy is completed, are we going to get a second version? And I would personally like to say and hope, I would love to see another version of it, a second generation. I mean, if the first one does really, really, really well in the future, I mean, I think it would make sense to add a second version to Loomian Legacy. So that's it. That's all the 5 ideas I have, or at least ideas I would like to see added to Loomian Legacy. Again, these ideas I have, like confirmed. Also, like I said, some of them are a little bit far-fetched, like the player host tournament version thing. I can't really see that being a thing, but like I said, this video was for just me to sit down, have a discussion about certain things that I would personally love to see as an addition to Loomian Legacy. It doesn't mean that they're all going to make it in. I mean, some of these like Mega Evolutions, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are expecting Loomian Legacy to have something like Mega Evolutions. I mean, there is a chance that it could not happen, but most people are like expecting it, so there's probably a chance with all of like the audience like wanting it, they might just end up giving it to us at some point. Again, if they are, we have no idea when it's going to be a thing, but I feel like that some of these could potentially be a thing. Some of them are a little bit far-fetched, but like I said, that's the entire purpose of this video, is to sit down, have a discussion, see what you guys think of my ideas, and again, give me some of your own ideas. If you don't like any of my ideas, let me know, and feel free to like tell me one of your ideas that you think would actually be a really, really cool addition to Loomian Legacy. So yeah, anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.